You cannot fail. The truth about trying your best, I'm going to tell you something that will change your entire perspective on success and failure. You cannot fail. I repeat, you cannot fail. Not if you try your best, not if you keep going, not if you refuse to quit. Failure isn't real. It's a concept, it's a label. It's something people made up to explain why they stopped trying. But here's the truth. The only way to fail is to quit. That's it. That's the only way. If you keep going, if you keep trying, if you give your absolute best effort, failure becomes impossible. Not unlikely, impossible. Think about it. What is failure? It's when something doesn't work and you stop. But what happens if you don't stop? What happens if you take that failure and use it as information? What happens if you adjust and try again? Then it wasn't failure, it was feedback. People are walking around terrified of failing. They're playing small. They're not starting because they might not succeed. They're not trying because they might look stupid. And that's the real failure. Not trying, not starting, not giving your best. This might be the most powerful truth I've ever discovered. If you try your best and keep going long enough, you will succeed. Not might succeed, not could succeed, will succeed. It's not motivation, it's mathematics, it's logic, it's the way the universe works. Let me explain this to you. Failure is a myth. Failure is a story we tell ourselves when we quit. That's all it is. You didn't fail at that business. You quit that business. You didn't fail at learning that skill. You stopped practicing. You didn't fail at that relationship. You stopped trying. That's the difference, really. Failure requires a full stop. It requires you to declare something over. It requires you to accept defeat and walk away. But what if you don't do that? What if you refuse to accept that something is over? What if you treat every setback as a setup for a comeback? Then failure doesn't exist in your reality. Thomas Edison. Everyone knows he tried thousands of times before he invented the light bulb. Did he fail 9,999 times? No. He learned 9,999 ways that didn't work. And then he found the one way that did. Did he fail? No. He succeeded. Eventually, inevitably. Because he kept going. That's the secret. That's the thing nobody wants to tell you because it sounds too simple. Keep going and you cannot lose. People want complex formulas. They want secret strategies. They want shortcuts and hacks and insider knowledge. But the truth is simple. Try your best. Keep trying. Don't quit. You will win. Every single time. The problem is that most people don't try their best. They try halfway. They give 60% effort and wonder why they're getting 60% results. They dabble. They experiment. They test the waters. And then they quit when it gets hard. That's not trying your best. That's not even really trying. Trying your best means you exhaust every option. You explore every angle. You learn everything there is to learn. You push until there's nothing left to push. And when you do that, when you genuinely give everything you have, you don't fail. You can't. Because success becomes the only possible outcome. Why do you think people quit before they win? Here's what happens to most people. They start something. They're excited. They're motivated. They're ready to conquer the world. Then reality hits. It's harder than they thought. It takes longer than they expected. The results aren't coming fast enough. So they quit. Not because they failed, because they got uncomfortable, because they got impatient, because they thought success was supposed to be easier. And then they tell themselves and everyone else that they failed, that it wasn't meant to be, that it wasn't the right time, that it wasn't the right opportunity. All lies. The truth? They quit before the breakthrough. They stopped right before the finish line. They gave up one day before the miracle. I'm going to tell you something that will frustrate you. Success is always closer than you think. Always. But it's hidden behind one more attempt, one more try, one more push. Most people quit at 99%. They do 99% of the work and then walk away. And someone else comes along, does that last 1% and gets all the credit. Why? Because that last 1% is the hardest. That's where doubt lives. That's where fear screams the loudest. That's where everyone tells you to quit. But that's also where success lives. Right there. Behind the discomfort. Behind the fear. Behind the doubt. You want to know why you haven't succeeded yet? I'll tell you. You quit too early. You gave up when it got difficult. You listened to the voices telling you it wasn't working. But those voices don't know what you're capable of. Those voices don't see the bigger picture. Those voices don't understand that every attempt is bringing you closer to success. Here's what people don't understand. Every single thing you try teaches you something. Every failure is actually data. Every setback is information. Every mistake is education. So if you keep trying, you keep learning. And if you keep learning, you keep improving. And if you keep improving, success is inevitable. Not possible. Inevitable. The only variable is time. How long are you willing to keep going? How many attempts are you willing to make? How much are you willing to learn? If your answer is as long as it takes, you cannot lose. There's also a mathematical aspect to this. Let me break this down logically. Every time you try something, you get one of two outcomes, success or feedback. If you succeed, great. You're done. You won. If you get feedback, you now know something you didn't know before. You know what doesn't work. You know what to avoid. You know what to adjust. So you try again, with better information, with more knowledge, with improved strategy. And you get one of two outcomes, success or feedback. See the pattern? Every single attempt either gives you the result you want or gives you the information you need to get the result you want. Both outcomes move you forward. Both outcomes are wins. The only way to lose is to stop. The only way to fail is to quit. If you keep trying, you're literally stacking information, you're accumulating knowledge, you're building expertise. And at some point, you will have enough information to succeed. It's not mystery, it's not magic, it's mathematics. Think about it like this. Imagine success is behind one of 100 doors. You don't know which door. But every time you try a door, you eliminate an option. First attempt, wrong door. 99 doors left. Second attempt, wrong door. 98 doors left. Third attempt, wrong door. 97 doors left. What happens if you keep going? Eventually you run out of wrong doors. Eventually you find the right one. That's not failure. That's process. That's progress. That's inevitable success. But most people try 10 doors and quit. They say this isn't working. They say, I'm not meant to succeed at this. They say it's too hard. And they walk away with 90 doors left unopened. 90 chances left untaken. 90 opportunities left unexplored. Meanwhile, someone else comes along. They try door number 11. That's the right door. They succeed. Was the first person unlucky? No. They quit too early. Was the second person lucky? No. They kept going. That's the difference. That's the entire game. Your job isn't to be perfect on the first try. Your job isn't to succeed immediately. Your job is to keep trying until you run out of wrong answers. And when you run out of wrong answers, all that's left is the right answer. Success. Every single time. Now let's talk about what trying your best actually means. It doesn't mean being perfect. It doesn't mean never making mistakes. It doesn't mean succeeding on the first attempt. Trying your best means giving everything you have in that moment. It means showing up fully. It means not holding back. And here's why that matters. When you try your best, you eliminate regret. You can't look back and say, what if I had tried harder? Because you know you didn't hold anything back. You gave it everything. That's power. That's freedom. That's the difference between people who succeed and people who live with regret. Most people don't try their best. They try enough to feel like they tried. They do the minimum. They protect themselves from disappointment by never fully committing. And then they wonder why they're not getting results. Your best effort creates maximum results. Not immediately, not always, but eventually, always eventually. Because the universe responds to commitment. Reality bends toward people who refuse to quit. Opportunities appear for people who keep showing up. I've seen it over and over. People who try their best, who give everything they have, who refuse to accept defeat, they always win. Maybe not today, maybe not this month, maybe not this year, but they win. Because trying your best has a compounding effect. Every day you give your maximum effort, you get a little bit better, a little bit stronger, a little bit smarter. Day 1, you're at level 1. Day 30, you're at level 5. Day 100, you're at level 15. Day 365, you're at level 50. And the person who tried their best for 365 days is unrecognizable compared to who they were at the start. That's not talent. That's not luck. That's not genetics. That's trying your best every single day, without exception, without excuses. And when you do that, failure becomes impossible. Because you're not the same person who started. You're better, stronger, more capable. The thing that was impossible on day 1 is easy on day 365. The challenge that stopped you in month 1 is simple in month 12. You didn't fail, you evolved, you grew, you became someone who could succeed, and that's the secret. You don't need to be the person who can succeed right now. You need to become that person, and you become that person by trying your best every single day. Failure is only possible if you stay the same. But if you're trying your best, you're changing, you're improving, you're transforming. And transformed people don't fail. They break through. Let me tell you what happens when you adopt this mindset, when you genuinely believe that trying your best makes failure impossible. First, fear disappears. Not completely, but it loses its power. Because what are you afraid of? Failing? You can't fail if you don't quit. So what's there to fear? Embarrassment? Temporary. Judgment? Irrelevant. Setbacks? Expected. When failure isn't an option, fear becomes noise. It's just background static. It's there, but it doesn't control you anymore. Second, you become relentless because you know that every attempt brings you closer to success. Every try is progress. Every effort is investment. You don't get discouraged by setbacks. You expect them. You welcome them because they're teaching you what doesn't work so you can find what does. Third, people start noticing, not immediately, but eventually. Because someone who refuses to quit stands out. Someone who keeps going when everyone else stops is remarkable. And remarkable people attract opportunities. Doors open, connections form, resources appear. Not because of luck, because of consistency, because of commitment, because of the undeniable evidence that you're serious. Fourth, you build unstoppable momentum. The first try is hard. The 10th try is hard. But the 100th try, it's automatic. You've built the habit. You've developed the skill. You've become the person who doesn't quit. And that momentum carries you through the tough days, through the doubt, through the criticism, through everything. Fifth, you prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought. Every time you push past where you wanted to quit, you expand your limits. You redefine what's possible for you. And once you do that, once you prove to yourself that you can keep going, nothing can stop you. Not circumstances, not people, not challenges. Because you know the truth. You know that if you keep trying your best, success is guaranteed. Sixth, you inspire others. People watch. They see someone who won't quit. They see someone who keeps getting back up. They see someone who believes in themselves, even when nobody else does. And that inspires them to do the same. Your refusal to fail gives other people permission to keep going. Seventh, and this is the big one, you win. Maybe not on your timeline, maybe not in the way you expected, but you win. Because winners aren't people who never fall. Winners are people who never stay down. Winners aren't people who succeed on the first try. Winners are people who try until they succeed. Winners aren't people who avoid failure. Winners are people who don't believe in failure. And when you try your best, when you keep going no matter what, when you refuse to accept defeat, you become a winner, not eventually, immediately. Because winning isn't about the result. Winning is about the refusal to quit. So here's what it comes down to. Here's the only question you need to answer. How long are you willing to try? That's it. That's the entire game. Because if your answer is as long as it takes, you've already won. The outcome is decided. Success is inevitable. It's just a matter of time. But if your answer is until it gets too hard, or until people start judging me, or until I get tired, then you're choosing to fail. You're putting an expiration date on your effort. And that's the only way to lose. Let me be very clear about something. The universe doesn't care about your timeline. Success doesn't operate on your schedule. Results don't appear just because you decided to try for 3 months. Some things take 3 months, some things take 3 years, some things take 10 years. But they all have one thing in common. They require you to keep going. So ask yourself right now, what are you trying to accomplish? What's your goal? What's your dream? Now ask yourself the real question. Are you willing to try your best at that thing for as long as it takes? Not for a year, not for 5 years, for as long as it takes. If the answer is yes, you cannot fail. It's not possible. You will figure it out. You will find the way. You will succeed. If the answer is no, don't start. Because you're setting yourself up for the only real failure, quitting. Here's what most people don't understand. They think success is about having the right strategy, the right connections, the right timing, the right resources. No. Success is about having the right commitment, the commitment to try your best, the commitment to keep going, the commitment to never quit. Everything else is details. Everything else is tactics. Everything else is negotiable. But that commitment, that's non-negotiable. That's what separates people who succeed from people who almost succeeded. And here's the beautiful part. You already have everything you need to make that commitment. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need anyone's approval. You just need to decide right now, right here. Are you willing to try your best for as long as it takes? Yes or no? If yes, you cannot fail. Ever. I'm going to leave you with this. Failure is a choice, not a possibility. A choice. You choose to fail when you choose to quit. You choose to fail when you choose to stop trying your best. You choose to fail when you choose to accept defeat. But you can also choose to never fail by choosing to never quit, by choosing to always try your best, by choosing to keep going no matter what. And when you make that choice, everything changes. The pressure disappears because you're not worried about failing. You can't fail. The fear dissolves because you know that every attempt is progress. Every try is growth. The doubt fades because you've committed, you've decided, you're all in. And that commitment, that decision to try your best and never quit, that's the most powerful force in the universe. It's not talent, it's not intelligence, it's not resources. It's the simple, stubborn, relentless refusal to accept defeat. That's what creates success, that's what changes lives, that's what builds empires. So here's my challenge to you. Stop worrying about failure. It's not real, it's not possible, not if you keep trying. Start worrying about one thing and one thing only. Am I trying my best? If yes, keep going. Success is coming. If no, step it up. Give more. Push harder. Commit deeper. Because I promise you this, if you try your best and you keep going long enough, you will never fail. Not eventually. Not possibly. Not maybe. Never. You will succeed. It's inevitable. It's guaranteed. It's the way the world works. So stop doubting yourself. Stop being afraid. Stop looking for excuses. Try your best. Keep going. Never quit. And watch what happens. You're going to win. I promise you that. Not because I believe in you, but because I believe in the process. I believe in effort. I believe in persistence. And those things, they never lose. Never. You're going to win. You cannot lose.